Did you know that your brain is the most energy-consuming organ in your body, using up to 20% of your body's total energy? That's a lot of power for something that weighs just about 3 pounds. Today, we're diving into the captivating world of developmental neuroscience. This is the story of how our brains grow and change from the moment we're born, and even before that. So buckle up, because we're about to embark on a fascinating journey into the world of developmental neuroscience. Imagine a construction site. That's your brain in the early stages of development. It's a bustling hive of activity, with countless processes working in tandem to build the complex structure that will become the center of your thoughts, emotions, and experiences. Let's break down these processes, shall we? First up, we have neurogenesis. This is the birth of new neurons, the building blocks of the brain. This process begins in the womb and continues at a rapid pace throughout early childhood. In fact, by the time a baby is born, they have nearly all the neurons they will ever have. That's around 100 billion. You can check out our video on neurogenesis. You want detailed explanation? Coming back to the topic. Next, we have neuronal migration. This is the process by which neurons move to their appropriate place in the brain. Think of it as the neurons finding their home address in the vast city of the brain. This journey is guided by a multitude of genetic and environmental factors, much like a GPS system. Then, we have the formation of neural circuits. These are the pathways that allow neurons to communicate with each other. It's akin to laying down the roads and highways of our brain city. This process is also influenced by both genetics and the environment. Genetics provides the blueprint, the basic plan for brain development. It's like the architect's design for our construction site. But the environment also plays a crucial role. It's the weather conditions, the availability of resources, the unforeseen challenges that can alter the course of construction. In the context of the brain, this could be anything from the nutrition a mother gets during pregnancy to the child's experiences in the first few years of life. And so, the construction of the brain is a dynamic, ever-changing process, a dance between nature and nurture. It's a delicate balance that shapes who we are, how we think, and how we interact with the world. So, our brain's construction site is bustling from the very beginning, with both genetics and environment playing crucial roles. The story of brain development is a fascinating journey, and we're just getting started, so stick around. There's much more to discover in this incredible saga of the human brain. From the construction site, we move to the garden of the brain, where some serious pruning happens. Let's imagine the brain as a lush, verdant garden. In this garden, there are periods of rapid growth and blooming known as critical periods. These are specific windows of time during brain development when the neural circuits are especially open to environmental stimuli and experiences. Think of it like this. During these critical periods, the brain is like a sponge, soaking up experiences. These experiences shape the structure and function of the brain, molding it into the complex organ that controls our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Now let's turn our attention to the concept of synaptic pruning. In the brain's garden, not all plants are meant to stay. Some connections between neurons, much like overgrown branches, need to be pruned away to allow for healthier growth. This is exactly what happens during synaptic pruning. As we grow and learn, our brains create a plethora of neural connections, but not all of these are necessary or beneficial. So our brains start a process akin to a gardener pruning away the excess growth. This pruning process eliminates the unnecessary connections, allowing the brain to function more efficiently. It's a bit like spring cleaning for the brain, getting rid of the clutter to make room for what's really important. This process is heavily influenced by our experiences and environmental stimuli, which determine which connections are pruned and which are preserved. The connections that are used more frequently, like those involved in language or motor skills, are strengthened, while those that are used less frequently are pruned away. Just as a gardener prunes a garden to encourage healthier, more efficient growth, our brains prune away unnecessary neural connections. This helps us adapt to our environment and learn new skills. So, just like a well-pruned garden, our brains too need to let go of unnecessary connections to grow efficiently. Ever wondered why teenagers act so, well, teenagey? It's all in the brain. Let's take a stroll down the memory lane of adolescence. Remember the roller coaster of emotions, the bouts of impulsivity and the sleepless nights filled with existential angst? Well, it wasn't your fault, really. You were just being a typical teenager, a unique phenomenon in the grand scheme of brain development. During adolescence, the brain goes through a phase of rapid growth and transformation, akin to a construction site buzzing with activity. The most significant changes occur in the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for complex cognitive activities like decision-making, planning, and social behavior. This area of the brain doesn't fully mature until the mid-20s, which might explain why teenagers often make decisions that seem, well, less than optimal to us adults. But it's not all chaos and confusion. One of the most exciting things happening during this period is the increase in neural connectivity. Imagine the brain as a vast, sprawling city. During adolescence, the city starts to build more roads, bridges, and tunnels, connecting different neighborhoods and allowing for smoother, faster traffic flow. This increased connectivity allows for more efficient communication between different brain regions, leading to improved cognitive abilities and problem-solving skills. But remember, with great power comes great responsibility. As the brain builds these new connections, it also needs to get rid of the old, unused ones. This process, known as synaptic pruning, is like a gardener trimming back the overgrown branches to keep the garden neat and orderly. It's a vital part of brain maturation, ensuring that the brain doesn't get cluttered with unnecessary information. So the teenage brain isn't just a hormonal hot mess. It's a dynamic, evolving entity, constantly adapting and reshaping itself in response to new experiences and challenges. It's a period of immense growth, exploration, and potential, and it's these changes that help shape who we become as adults. So, the next time a teenager in your life seems a bit off, remember, their brain is just undergoing some major renovations. Our brains are like clay, constantly molding and adapting throughout our lives. This marvelous ability to change and adapt is referred to as neuroplasticity. We have covered this topic in our previous video, so do check out that video for more detailed explanation. Coming back to the topic. It's a crucial part of our brain's development and function, and it continues throughout our lifetimes. Imagine walking through a forest. The more you tread on a path, the clearer and more established it becomes. Similarly, our brain strengthens the pathways or neural circuits that we use most often. When we learn something new, we create a new pathway. When we practice or repeat that knowledge, we strengthen this pathway, making it quicker and more efficient. Neuroplasticity is the reason why stroke victims can relearn skills, or why we can pick up a new language or musical instrument at any age. It allows our brains to compensate for injury or disease, to adjust to new environments or changes in our surroundings, and to continually learn and adapt. This understanding of neuroplasticity has profound implications. It's not just about learning and memory, but also rehabilitation. It gives hope to those with brain injuries or neurodegenerative diseases, as we explore therapies that can harness the brain's plasticity to improve recovery or slow disease progression. So remember, it's never too late to teach an old brain new tricks. Our brains are never truly set in stone. They are dynamic, adaptable, and capable of change. So keep learning, keep challenging yourself, and keep nurturing your brain's incredible plasticity. Let's take a look at some real-life examples to understand the effects of genetics and environment on brain development. First off, Fragile X syndrome. It's a genetic disorder that causes intellectual disability and behavioral challenges. Think of genetics as the blueprint for the brain's development. If there's a glitch in the blueprint, like in Fragile X syndrome, the brain's growth and function can be drastically affected. Now let's talk about fetal alcohol syndrome. This condition is caused by exposure to alcohol during pregnancy and can result in developmental delays, cognitive impairments, and physical abnormalities. Unlike Fragile X, this isn't about genetics, but rather the impact of the environment on the developing brain. Drinking alcohol during pregnancy is like throwing a wrench in the construction site of the brain, causing all sorts of problems in its development. Finally, we have Harlow's rhesus monkey studies. These experiments showed the crucial role of early maternal care and social interaction. baby monkeys raised with soft cloth mothers developed more normally than those raised with wire mothers. This study emphasizes that our environment, especially social and emotional experiences, can significantly shape our brain development. These case studies show us the profound impact of both our genes and our environment on our brain development. They remind us that while our genetic blueprint lays the foundation for our brains, it's our experiences and environment that build the rest of the house. So, what have we learned from this journey into the world of developmental neuroscience? We've explored the wonder of early brain development and the crucial periods that shape our neural architecture. We've discovered the meticulous process of synaptic pruning and myelination and the unique transformations that occur in the adolescent brain. We've seen how the brain remains plastic throughout life, adapting and evolving. Well, that's it for today's journey into the brain. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment your thoughts below. Until next time, keep nurturing your amazing, ever-growing brain.